stay with that new Cadillac, the best parking space. I remember things like, we had a building fund for like 5 years. I'm like, yo, all the talent offering the old people be putting in, because I will put in $1, but the older people put in 20s, 50s, hundreds. I'm like, yo, we ain't at this goal yet. It took us 5 years to do this just to put on a little addition to the church. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just that's just my personal anecdote right there. But I think Dr. Umar is spinning facts right now. I think I've always thought religion is somewhat of a, I'm not gonna say a mind control, but somewhat, it narrows your mind, because you have Christians and you have Muslims, and they're so, righteous and believe in their religion and faithful, but they judge each other on their based off their beliefs. I That's where it loses me. I'm like, if religion was really like attached to spirituality, why is it creating bias amongst people? Um, Even with Judaism, I guess that's what you call it. Islam, Christianity. Christians are the biggest hypocrites in the world to me. Shout out to my Christians, but they're just the biggest hypocrites in the world. You know, they say God said thou shalt not judge, and they be in the pulpit judging your ass. I be hearing my grandma and my mom gossip about such and such all the time. That shit used to boggle my mind. Shout out to grandma. I ain't talking about grandma, but um, I don't know, man. I always felt a funny way about religion. I don't think it's attached to spirituality. I don't think it's attached to spirituality at all. It's there's a dimmer there, and it's somewhat of a spectacle to me to go up in the church and watch people, catch the Holy Ghost and start, stomping and rolling on the ground and whatnot. And I get it. I Religion does have its great concepts, like how to be a positive human being, how to be a decent human being, as far as the commandments, thou shalt not kill. That makes sense. I don't want to just be out here killing people just because I feel like it. That one kind of makes sense, but it's just a it seems like very much a show to me, very
Mm.
much a show. Like, I don't get me wrong, that preachers have a great talent of learning how to tug at your emotions. It's
Mm.
just how they started. They start off small. They'll relate it to current events. They'll, like get you paying attention by, you know, talking calmly, and then they'll turn up, and then it turns you up. You know what I'm saying? Or it turns people in the church up. It's very interesting to me.
It's the art of public speaking, and that's where I got detached as well. As you can see, most of our generation kind of got separated from the church. There is a difference between religious and spiritual. It's supposed to be a tie. If you're religious, you're automatically deemed as spiritual, but a lot of people actually aren't spiritual who are taught religion. Religion is taught, spiritual is instinct, but you have to be in tune with yourself to understand spirit, right? And I have my own connection with God. I advise everybody to develop their own connection with God. And my connection with God doesn't have to be the same way as yours might be or what somebody else tells me to. I always had, since we're dabbling in like where we got this lost connection, one of the things I'm gonna point out is you said like you could tell like someone right as a child. That's because, to use your word, children are very cognizant. They know, and like right from wrong, like the inner thing. Like I said, that's spiritual right there.
Hmm.
Like if something doesn't feel right, again, the body and the mind automatically is like, okay, fear, defense, protect. What's going on? I'm being fed something. These two things don't add up. What is happening? Right? And then the main thing they tell you after you after you give them all of this time, the main thing they tell you is come back, just keep coming back. Even if it don't make sense, just keep it back. It'll start to make sense. No, it'll start to be comfortable and routine. And then what I told y'all a long time ago, not calling this a lie, but the mind is the monster. The mind is the victim to the monster of repetition, right? So after, like, I mean, you got it all the time. Christians are against Christians. You know, you got different types of Christians. You got all types of,
Mm,
churches.
mm.
So to bring this back to the financial piece is that's where I was lost at too. Like, you mean to tell me that this money that I'm donating as tithes is supposed to be 10% of my earnings that I'm donating as tithes, I'm paying my dues, is going to God. God notices this. Okay, well, what I
God ain't never needed no goddamn money. He just turned water to wine. What the fuck he need some money for? Excuse my language. Sorry, Lord. You know my heart.
your connection with God. So what I saw it as is what I learned is that I don't have to tithe in a certain way. I can still pay my dues and pay my tithes, but it doesn't have to be through the church. There's no there's no definites about that, right? There's no definites that I gotta do it through the church. I gotta do it. Like, however you want to do it, you do it. And if that seems right for you, then do so. But I don't have to. So I do 10% of my earnings elsewhere. However I do it, it's still sacrificial and it's still for still purposeful, right? I always wondered that as well. This is why I don't.